Hey, what's up, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and now that we're a few days into the official release of Destiny 2 The Witch Queen, you've no doubt had your time to go through the story mode, beat the campaign, learn all about Savathun's secrets. By the way, complete that story on Legendary difficulty, it is well worth the challenge. But by now, you've probably beaten the story and you're ready to dive into some of that post-story sweet seasonal content. Including, of course, exotic quests. And in this video, we're going to be walking you through the exotic quest of Queens and Worms, which will reward you with the exotic grenade launcher, Parasite. You can start this exotic quest as soon as you finish the main story campaign, and it'll first task you to meet with Mara inside of the Enclave weapon crafting area. After a short cutscene, your next task will be to complete the newly available strike, Birthplace of the Vile. You'll be able to select this strike directly off of the map for Savathun's throne world. And once you've run it to completion, the quest will update, now tasking you with speaking to Finch, who will then point you towards a cryptoglyph rune in the Temple of Cunning. These cryptoglyph runes will be spots on the map where a few waves of enemies will spawn as soon as you get near. All you have to do is take those waves of enemies out, and the quest step will advance. However, the pathway to the Temple of Cunning is kind of a trek. Follow the path we're taking in this video and you'll find it in no time. Once you've arrived at this spot, take out all of the enemies that will spawn on the rune. Then, the quest will update and task you with defeating 100 Scorn. This is really easy and can be done basically anywhere on Savathun's throne world. For me, personally, I'd recommend heading back to the Quagmire loading zone. There's a lost sector there that has a ton of Scorn in it. You'll likely get the 100 kills you need just by running around that place. Anyways, once you've defeated all 100 Scorn, the quest will update again. Next, you'll need to find the entrance to the Sepulchre Lost Sector in the Fluorescent Canal. Make your way there and head into the Lost Sector. Clear it out, and at the end, you'll have the option to reveal a hidden path to a worm table. Go and interact with it. That'll move you on to the next step. Once this is updated, your next step will be to complete 3 patrols in Fluorescent Canal. This shouldn't take you any time at all. And when you're finished with that, your next step will be to clear the Cryptoglyph rune in Queen's Bailey. You can get there directly from the Fluorescent Canal. And once you're there, go ahead and clear out the next Cryptoglyph rune. Then the quest is going to update again, tasking you with finding the entrance to the Metamorphosis Lost Sector in the Miasma. Clear the Lost Sector, and again at the end, after you've opened up the chest, you'll find a secret path that you can reveal using your newly found psychic abilities. Do so and it'll lead you to another worm table. From here, you're tasked with clearing another Cryptoglyph rune, this time in the Alluring Curtain. Now, this place can be a little confusing to get to, but if you follow the path that I'm taking you through here, it'll put you on the start to the Alluring Curtain. And then you can just follow the normal jumping path that you took during the campaign. Once you're there, you'll be faced with another Cryptoglyph rune. Go ahead and clear out all the enemies there, and then the quest will update asking you to find a deep sight cache. This will be really close nearby. Essentially, for this step, you'll need to activate deep sight, which will cause a couple of nearby platforms to spawn. Make your way up them, and if you look around, you'll see 3 platforms that have a torch on them. Shoot the torch to light it up. If you do that to all 3, the deep sight cache will spawn. Once you've done so, go ahead and open up that cache to move on to the next step. From here, you'll need to clear the Lost Sector Extraction in Quagmire. So make your way over there, run that Lost Sector, and then again at the end, once you've opened up the chest, you can activate Deep Sight, follow a hidden path, and then reach the final worm table. From here, things are going to start getting spicy. Your next step will be to speak to Finch, who will then give you access to the mission Parasitic Pilgrimage. This mission will pop up in the Fluorescent Canal. Make your way over there and start it. The mission itself is pretty straightforward and easy. You have to carry the worm from pool of light to pool of light, essentially keeping it alive as stepping in those pools of light will refresh a detonation timer on that worm. And you guessed it, if the timer gets to 0, well, you're gonna fail. The quest itself is pretty fun and kind of plays like an obstacle course straight out of Ninja Warrior or Legends of the Hidden Temple. But anyways, once you've made your way through to the end, congratulations. You will receive the Parasite Exotic Grenade Launcher. And just like in Exotic Missions Pass, you're going to be able to use it to clear out this mission itself. It's a fun time exploding scorn all over the place. But let's go ahead and take a look at your brand new reward. This is the Parasite. It comes with the intrinsic ability Worm's Hunger. This weapon fires hive worms which explode on impact. The size and damage of the explosion scales with the number of enemies you defeated just before firing this weapon. There's no fluffery here. You're shooting a hive worm at groups of enemies, and that hive worm has a rather sizable detonation. And it gets bigger. The explosion, the blast radius gets bigger the more enemies you take out right before you fire this weapon. So it's kind of an interesting loop there with a weirdly functioning rampage that increases blast radius and damage. But it's odd where you have to basically get kills with other weapons or other abilities. That gives a buff to the Parasite. Then you fire the Parasite at a group of enemies and the detonation is larger. The gun also comes with volatile launch and high ordnance explosive. And its special trait is called Worm Byproduct. Taking damage from your own worm projectile detonation empowers your weapon for a short time. That's right, dealing damage to yourself with this grenade launcher actually makes it stronger, tying in, of course, to the theming there of it being a parasite, draining away your life energy to make itself more powerful. And it's a good thing too, because the blast radius on this is pretty wide, especially once you've taken out a few enemies, so you're likely to be hitting yourself virtually all the time. It's definitely something you'll notice while playing with the weapon. And finally, of course, it's got a composite stock. But there we go, the weapon's gameplay loop is pretty simple. You've got one shot, And you want to make it count, so the more enemies you take out with, say, a grenade or some other weapon before you swap to the Parasite, the stronger this weapon gets, and if you damage yourself a little bit with it, it's going to get even stronger. It pairs pretty well with builds that are focused around you taking damage and either overshielding yourself or healing yourself, like with Devour, and does a pretty good job of cleaning up ads all over the place. Seems to have decent damage and was able to basically two-shot most of the ultras in this mission. Overall, about the only thing I dislike about the weapon is, of course, its low magazine size and its rather low reload speed. Hopefully those are two things that might be addressed with the catalyst, which is in the game files, but as I understand it, isn't available right now. Additionally, while the mechanic works fine, especially with some of the abilities we have in the game right now, I'd love it if the catalyst lets you proc Worm's Hunger based on kills with the Parasite rather than having to get kills with something that's not your exotic grenade launcher. So if it got a catalyst similar to, say, the Trinity Ghoul, where it could start activating its own effect, that would make this thing a monstrous ad clear weapon. Fingers crossed to see what that's going to be in the future. But anyways, that's how you can get your hands on the Parasite Exotic Grenade Launcher. This quest was a lot of fun to go through, especially the obstacle course in the Parasitic Pilgrimage mission at the end. But that's how you can get this weapon. Hopefully it helped. How do you feel about the Parasite? Have you gotten your hands on it? Leave me your thoughts on this weapon down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But I'm out for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians stay frosty. We have got oh so much more to cover.